Hey, welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Sophie and I'm the founder of Agnes London. For those of you who are regular watchers of my videos, then I'm sorry there hasn't been a video in a few weeks. I have just been super busy trying to get prepared for maternity leave and just had a couple of big projects on that I needed to finish, so I didn't get around to editing any videos. But anyway, I have a video for you today and I have a few more videos planned before I go on maternity leave. I'm not sure whether I will continue to post whilst I'm on maternity leave. It all kind of depends on how much I get filmed before going on, so sorry if there's another break from videos as well. Anyway, let's get into today's video. So I know the weather is not very spring-like at the moment. Well, we seem to have pockets of sunshine, but today's video is going to be a super easy spring summer dress. So last year I was sent a mystery box of fabrics from my friend Callie, which had dead stock fabrics in it, and then I just got creative and made them into things. So if you are a regular watcher of my videos, you would have seen this sheared blouse video that I did out of the fabrics that Callie sent me. And yeah, needless to say, that blouse does not fit me anymore because there is a large bump in the way and it's a very fitted blouse. So probably won't be wearing that till next summer now. I still had loads of that fabric left and I really like shearing and I think it's a really nice spring summer style. So I decided to make myself a dress out of the fabric I had left. So I have made a super simple sheared spring dress. So it's short sleeves or straps. I was going to do long sleeves, like long puffy sleeves, but I decided that because the fabric was slightly see-through, that fabric would be better off as an underskirt. So I just did straps instead. So yeah, if you are someone who has just started sewing or has got the basics of sewing down but doesn't know anything about pattern cutting or dressmaking, then this is the perfect dress for you to make to start off making your own clothes, because there's no technical kind of requirements in terms of fitting or pattern cutting. You just literally need to be able to measure like your bust and how long you want the dress to be. So it's really straightforward. So the top part of this bodice is sheared, so it's all nice and stretchy, and then the rest of the skirt is just nice and flowy. And like I say, it is 2 layers because this is slightly see-through. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I've worn it a couple of times now and got lots of compliments on it, and I just really like this fabric. So I think I probably used about 3 meters of fabric in total. This fabric wasn't very wide, so depending on the width of your fabric, you may be able to use less. But you could literally do the same technique and just turn it into a top and then use less fabric. Or if you've got more fabric, use a full-length skirt. Anyway, the possibilities are endless. But enough of me rambling on. Let's get into this video and I will show you how I made this super simple summer dress.
So to make this dress, I am using a elasticated shirring elastic. Got a bobbin to wind this on as well. Then I've got my fabric scissors, a tape measure, a sketch of the dress, and my fabric as well. So like I said before, I think I'm using about 3 meters of this fabric. So this fabric is quite see-through, so I'm going to cut out a double layer for the skirt. No pattern needed. I'm just going to cut out 3 different sizes of rectangles, 2 each. So I'll end up with 6 rectangles in total. So I've measured all the way around my bust, and I need the width of the rectangles to be 1.5 times my bust measurement. This is because when we shear it with the elastic, it will then shrink back down to the size that I want it to be. So conveniently, that is the width of this fabric. So I am just cutting out longer rectangles of 100 centimeters, and I've got 2 of them, one for the front, one for the back. And then I cut out 2 shorter rectangles for the underskirt. I think I did about 80 centimeters long for this. And then whatever fabric I've got left, I'm using to cut out the straps. So I have actually measured on my body the distance from where I want the strap to come up to the distance on my back, and the fabric I've got left is actually just long enough. So I think this is roughly like 15 to 20 centimeters wide, this strip. So yeah, 6 rectangles in total, and yeah, I'm just using whatever's left. So first of all, I'm actually going to finish the edges of the fabric. I found when I've done shearing before that this is easier to do this step first, because once you've sheared the fabric and it starts to bunch up, it gets harder to get a neat finish. So I've already pre-overlocked the edges, like the shorter edges of the rectangles, and then I'm turning them to the inside and stitching them down with just a normal straight stitch on my sewing machine. If you don't have an overlocker, you could just roll hem them, or you could zigzag the edge and then turn it over and stitch it down. So now I am starting the shirring. So I've got a normal top thread in, and then I've got the shirring elastic in the bobbin, and then I'm changing the stitch length to as long as it will go, and I'm starting at the top of the rectangle, and I'm just stitching a straight line all the way along the short edge of the rectangle, about a presser foot's width from the end. Then I'm stopping, going down a couple of stitches and coming back on myself, again lining the edge of my presser foot up with the first line I did. So I'm going to keep doing this backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. Presser foot's width apart. I could do this bigger, I could do this smaller, but using the presser foot allows me to keep them neat and straight. So now my bobbin has run out of elastic, so I'm going to show you how I wind the bobbin on the elastic, which I literally just do this by hand. Don't do this by machine because you may pull it too tight, and yeah, you don't want to pull the elastic too tight, so you do have to wind it by hand, which does sometimes take a little while. So then yeah, I'm going to carry on. So you don't need to back tack or anything at the beginning or end of your stitches. You just keep doing your rows along as deep as you want them to go. So as you can see, the elastic bobbin is gathering the fabric up as I'm going, which gives you this really nice sheared effect. So for this, I'm going to roughly do 20 to 25 centimeters deep on each piece. I literally just want to shear the bust part, and then the rest is just going to be left like a flowing floaty skirt. So I did measure it on myself a couple of times to see if I needed to add any more. So yeah, it's just kind of personal preference, and also how much shearing elastic you've got to how far down you want to go. Repeating this on both the front and the back, making sure I've done the same amount of shearing rows on both the front and the back. When I get to my last couple of rows, what I decided to do was just to pop the underskirt underneath and to shear that in underneath the layer that I was doing, just to attach it to the bottom of the bust, because I wasn't going to add in any seams or anything. So I thought I may as well just stitch it as I went along. So definitely just a bit of a lazy way of adding it in here. So once I've added the underskirt to both the front and the back panels, and then I'm happy with how deep the shearing panels are, I am going to sew up the side seams. Again, just using a straight stitch and putting my normal bobbin back in, so normal cotton or polyester, whatever thread you're using, bobbin, and I'm just going to sew up the side seams. So I'm going to try and catch as much of the ends of the shearing threads in the side seams as possible to secure them. So in the video, I'm actually sewing up the underskirt and the outer skirt as though they are one, but when I tried this on, it didn't look right, so I ended up unpicking and coming back and sewing them together separately. So yeah, if you are doing an underskirt, don't sew them up together. But like I said, I only did the underskirt on this fabric because it's so thin. If you're using a fabric that isn't see-through, you wouldn't even need to do an underskirt at all if you're using any other kind of cotton. So yeah, I'm sewing up the side seams. Once I'm happy with this dress, I'm going to try this on now, and once I'm happy with it, I will come back and I will overlock these seams just to try and make sure I've really secured in that shearing threads, as obviously I haven't finished them off at all. So if I can catch them in my seams, that will secure them. So once I've sewn up the main body of the dress, I'm going to start doing the straps. And for the straps, I'm literally just repeating the same process, but this time I finished the long edges of the rectangle by overlocking them and then turning them over and stitching them down. And then I'm going to shear down the center of the straps as well for a couple of inches, trying to keep nice straight rows. And what you want to make sure you do, you want to make sure that you're stitching with the right side of your fabric up, otherwise you will end up with your shearing elastic on the outside of your fabric, and you don't want this. So once I finish the strap, I'm just going to attach them to the bodice. There was no real technique to this, I just stitched them down. I just stitched them down on the inside, and then the outer stitch, the stitching on the outside would be hidden within all this shearing stitching. And again, I think I went over and I overlocked the join as well, just to neaten everything up. So yeah, that is literally it. That is how easy this dress is to make. It's really simple, there's really nothing complicated to it. If you are using precious fabric, you might want to test out the shearing first to get the hang of it if it's the first time you've used it, but honestly it is so easy. I'll pop the links in the description box below to everything I've used, so if you've enjoyed watching this tutorial, please give this video a thumbs up.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you thought the technique was easy to follow and something that you'll be able to recreate at home. If you do try this, please tag me, let me know. I love to see your creations or hear about your projects. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like more videos with shirring techniques, let me know in the comments below. I will be back next week with another video. Promise this time that I'll actually be back next week. And thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss other videos like this, as I post, or I try and post videos every week. But like I say, I'm going on maternity leave, so there may be a pause in video posting. See you next week.